Right now, every email you send, every search you make, every photo you upload is being fed into AI training systems. Except for one category of data that companies legally can't touch, and almost nobody knows about it. I'm Mark, and today I'm breaking down exactly how your data is being used to train the AI you interact with every day, and more importantly, the one legal shield that actually protects you, if you know how to use it. Let's start with the obvious part. When you use ChatGPT, Google, or any AI tool, you're not paying with money. You're paying with data. Your conversations, your search history, your writing style, your preferences, all of it gets vacuumed up and used to train the next version of these models. OpenAI, Google, Meta, they've all admitted this. It's in the terms of service that almost nobody reads. But here's the thing that most people don't understand. There's a massive difference between data that's already public and data that's private. And there's one specific type of data that has legal protection that almost everything else doesn't. Let me explain how this works in practice. When you post on social media, you're handing your data over. When you search on Google, you're handing it over. When you chat with ChatGPT, you're handing it over. These companies have terms of service that say they can use this data for training. It's legal. It's in the fine print. Most people don't like it, but it's happening. But protected health information is different. In the United States, there's a law called HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And HIPAA says that your health data has special status. It cannot be used to train AI without explicit, separate consent, not bundled into some general terms of service. Explicit consent. Why health data? Because Congress decided that health information is sensitive enough that it deserves its own legal category. If you tell your doctor something, that's protected. If you get a diagnosis, that's protected. If you take a medication, that's protected. And companies can't just throw that into an AI training pipeline without asking you directly. Now, this doesn't mean your health data is completely safe. It means it has a higher bar. If a hospital uses your data to train an internal AI model, they need to either anonymize it so thoroughly that it can't be traced back to you, or they need to ask you first. And if they mess up, they can face fines. Real ones. Not a slap on the wrist. But here's where it gets complicated. Most of your data isn't protected by HIPAA. Your location data, your browsing history, your shopping habits, your dating profiles, none of that has the same legal shield. Companies can use it to train AI, and they do, constantly. There are a few other narrow categories with some protection. If you're in the European Union, you have GDPR, which gives you broader rights to know what data companies have and to request deletion. If you're in California, you have CCPA, which is weaker but still gives you some rights. But in most of the world, most of your data is fair game. So what can you actually do about this? First, understand that opting out completely is almost impossible. If you use the internet, your data is being collected. Full stop. But you can be strategic about what you hand over willingly. Second, if you have health data, know that it has legal protection. If you're working with a healthcare provider or a health app, ask them directly, "Are you using my data to train AI?" If they say yes, ask for their consent form. If they don't have one, that's a red flag. Third, use privacy-focused tools when you can. If you don't want your conversations training ChatGPT, use Claude or other models that offer private modes. If you don't want your searches training Google, use a privacy search engine. These aren't perfect, but they're better than nothing. Fourth, read the terms of service for health-related apps. Most of them won't use your data for training, but some will, and they'll bury it in the fine print. Don't assume. Here's the bigger picture, though. Health data has protection because Congress decided it was important enough. But your location data, your financial data, your behavioral data, that's just as sensitive in many ways. It's just not legally protected the same way. That's changing slowly. More countries are passing laws that give you more control over your data. But right now, in most places, the only real shield you have is the one around health information. And even that shield has holes. Companies can still use your health data if it's been anonymized. They can use it if you've given consent, even if you didn't read what you were consenting to. They can use it if it's been aggregated with millions of other people's data in a way that doesn't technically identify you. So the answer to the question I opened with is, health data is the one thing companies legally can't touch without jumping through extra hoops. But that doesn't mean it's completely protected. It just means there's a higher bar. And it definitely doesn't mean your other data is safe. The real takeaway here is this. Your data is valuable. Companies know it. They're using it to build better AI. And the only way you have any control over it right now is understanding which parts have legal protection and which parts don't. Health data is one. Everything else is mostly fair game. If you want to actually stay on top of how AI companies are using your data and what's changing in the legal landscape around privacy, subscribe. I break down this stuff every few days, and I promise I'll never bury the important part in the fine print.